This is the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, Ohio, site of the Central East Regional, and a sellout crowd is on hand to watch the final day of regional action and to watch two-time champion Rich Froning compete to qualify for a chance to earn a third title. We'll cover that and a lot more live coming up right now on the CrossFit Games Update Show. Hello and welcome to our live CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Jen Brown alongside Pat Sherwood, Nicole Christensen. Guys, it's our final day of competition in our final region, our final event. A lot has already been decided. Some people already have their spot, but still a lot to be determined. What do we have to look forward to today?
What do we not have to look forward to? I mean, in every event that we're going to see live, as well as the teams in the Mid-Atlantic and the Central East, there are 5 or less points that separate third and fourth place. So no matter what last event we're watching, it's going to be exciting. And again, we've seen the leaderboard shuffle. We're not going to know who's going to the games until 5 or so minutes after the event when they figure out how to update the leaderboard.
I'm happy and sad, right? It's been so fun, every Sunday to have all the live events, get to see these regionals that you unfortunately didn't get to go and watch in person. I don't want to have to wait all the way to the games to see it happen again, but I'm excited for today, and specifically, even for the regions that aren't live. I'm thinking Canada West, the women's race up there is awesome. We've got 1 point separating Gillespie and Light. And then, I got to take a step back and maybe issue an apology, but Latin America. I'm so excited for the women's race down there. When we stopped yesterday, Madeki was just running away with it, with like 6 points, and now Trissa Barnett has closed the gap to 1, so I said she'd have to break her foot. I hope she didn't break her foot, but the race down there, it's back on. I don't know who's going to go from Latin America.
All right, well, we will start in the Mid-Atlantic region with the women, where Michelle Crawford is hoping to earn a spot to the game. She missed out last year, 1 spot away from qualifying. Here's what went on with the women in days 1 and 2. The leader after day 1 was Gretchen Kittelberger. She was 5th in Jackie. She lifted 195 pounds 1 time for 3rd place in event 2, and she tied for 2nd in event 3. A consistent day 1 gave her a 2-point lead over the rest of the women. Michelle Crawford was 4th in her region last year, 1 spot away from qualifying for the games. She began strong this year, finishing 2nd in Jackie with a time of 6:27, but she could only lift 165 pounds 1 time in event 2, which gave her a tie for 18th place, dropping her to 5th place overall after day 1. Dara Ching, who was 9th in the regionals last year, won the 2nd event this year with 3 good reps at 195 pounds. She also did well on the burpee muscle-ups and was in 3rd place overall after the first day. Day 2 shuffled the standings. Event 4 bested the women as none of them were able to complete the 400 reps under the 25-minute cap. However, Christy Phillips completed the most reps with only 15 snatches to go. Kittelberger finished in 8th place in the heat, dropping her out of the 1st place spot, and Aaliyah Hemlick finished 2nd, putting her into contention for a spot at the games. But Michelle Crawford, who finished 3rd, remains in a prime position to grab the last qualifying spot. Crawford's explosiveness helped her win event 5 with a fast and furious time of 3 minutes 22 seconds. And just 5 seconds behind her was Hemlick, who remains outside the top 3 despite her solid 2nd place finish. Christy Phillips struggled on the deadlifts but managed to finish in 5th place, which was good enough to hold on to the overall lead. Gretchen Kittelberger labored through the box jumps, landing her a 6th place and narrowing the gap between 2nd and 3rd place. Michelle Crawford's hunger to make it to the games keeps her in 3rd place with a 7-point lead heading into the final day. So Michelle Crawford having a big day 2, enough to move her into contention for that 3rd qualifying spot.
Yeah, she's occupying 3rd, and she earned every single little bit of that. We've spoken over the past couple weeks about how big day 2 is and what a great indicator it is potentially of future performance. Well, on day 2, she had a 3rd and a 1st. And so that bodes very well going into today. And I've heard she's got a little bit of a tweaky back going on, but she's a competitor, and I bet right now she is just head to toe in an ice bath, going numb from the head down. She's going to lay it all on the line for a hell of a performance coming up on event 6 and 7.
Yeah, and we have to look right past her at that fourth place spot with Aaliyah Helmick. The big thing that stands out between the two of these ladies is that they've been very close in their finishes. So it's not that they've kind of one's done well in one event while the other suffered. They've been neck and neck. So depending on how that seventh event goes for both of them, we could see similar performances, and obviously with no cuts, that could shake things out very differently.
All right, well, there was an event 6 earlier today, but there was a power outage in Landover, Maryland, so we don't have that footage to show you, but we can show you the leaderboard after event 6. There you see Christy Phillips in first, Gretchen Kittelberger just 7 spots out of third, so close race there. Michelle Crawford, Aaliyah Hemlick, that's the one that stands out to me. Only 5 points between the two of them. Can Aaliyah catch up?
Yeah, I mean, again, so if you look at event 1, Crawford took second and Leah took first. You look at event 4, a third and a second. Event 5, a first and a second. So they perform very, very similarly. Again, you also have to look a little bit further down the leaderboard at Dara Ching right behind them. I expect that event 7 is going to be very good for her, so she could come into the mix. I don't think she's going to take one of those top 3 spots, but she could take a 4th place, which could mix things up between Michelle and Aaliyah.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to mix it up for Michelle Crawford, because I think there's another huge component. Obviously, she's a badass. I mean, she's sitting in 3rd place in the Mid-Atlantic behind Kittelberger and Christy Phillips, but there's a huge mental side of our sport as well. And she took 4th last year, and there's something about taking 4th in the vein of like Azadeh Boromon, who I know is not competing this year, but she took 4th and crushed her region. Matt Hathcock, same deal, where you were so close and you could almost touch it, and then you missed it.
Yep.
And all year, when you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you think about. You train for it all day. And now she finds herself in the top 3, and I think she's going to stay there no matter what comes.
All right. Yeah, and then you also have to look at Christy Phillips. Christy Phillips won her region in 2009, 2010, but hasn't the past couple of years. And while she's still sitting at the top, she's going to go after this workout like nothing else because she wants that regional win.
All right, well, event 7 looks like this. It's 4 rounds, 4 time, 2 rope climbs, 4 squat cleans, 135 pounds for the women, 225 for the men, also a sprint in between. Guys, where can this event be won or lost?
God, I almost don't want to give you credit, but I'm going to. I'm obsessed with the barbell, and I'm obsessed with the run of this because I want to see people sprinting, but a lot of times it's been settled, kind of like you said, on the rope.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of just a little, continuous dagger there to Rich's heart. But, we said, even just 2 weeks ago, we said that, the rope climb, I think both of us did, that the rope climb won't be an issue. Athletes know how to climb the rope. And then we saw it play out in the Northern California region where it did come into play. So, again, it's where the athlete's strength is. If they play that up enough, and if their weakness, if they kind of push the envelope.
All right, well, I guess that about wraps it up. We are ready for the women's Mid-Atlantic competition. We are going to send it out now to Landover, Maryland, where Justin Judkins, Cherie Chan have the call.
Welcome to day 3 of the Mid-Atlantic Regional. This is the event we have waited for all weekend. It is the 7th and final event of the women's competition here at the Prince George Learning and Sports Complex in Landover, Maryland. This is where the 12 women in heat number 3 will put it all on the line for a chance to qualify for the CrossFit Games in July. And this is a workout. It's a couplet with rope climbs and squat cleans. And I think that ever since rope climbs were included in the 2010 games and they gave Rich Froning a problem, I think people have been practicing those rope climbs, and I don't think those are going to be any kind of a problem for these women here today. 12 women have entered the competition floor. They are making those final mental preparations, getting ready for event number 7. As I said, this workout includes 4 rounds for time of 2 rope climbs to 15-foot rope, 4 squat cleans at 135 pounds for the women. And let's meet our women athletes now in lane number 12. In 12th place is Danielle Dion from Washington, D.C. She works out at CrossFit Balance. She placed 33rd in last year's regional. This is her 4th regional. In lane number 1, in 11th place, is Laura Barreto from Newark, Delaware. She works out at Hardback CrossFit. Her highest finish this weekend was 10th in event number 1. In lane number 11, in 10th place, is Christina Ruggiero from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She was 12th at last year's regional, and this is her 4th regional competition. In lane number 2, in 9th place, is Michelle Casker from Fraser, Pennsylvania. She trains at CrossFit Inspire. This is her first regional. Her highest placement was this weekend on the overhead squat. She placed 2nd. In lane 10, in 8th place, is Krista Owens from Southern Pines, North Carolina. She trains at East Coast CrossFit. Her highest place was 3rd on event number 5, the deadlift and box jump workout. Lane number 3, in 7th place, is Alicia McKenzie from Springfield, Virginia. She trains at CrossFit West Springfield. This is her 2nd regional. Her highest placement was 5th on event number 2, the overhead squat. Lane number 9, in 6th place, is Shauna Duvall from Asheville, North Carolina. She trains at CrossFit Asheville, placed 13th at last year's regional. This is her 5th regional competition. In lane number 4, in 5th place, is Dara Ching from Baltimore, Maryland. She was 9th at last year's regional, and she won events number 2 and 6. In lane number 8, in 4th place, is Aaliyah Helmick from Columbia, Maryland. She trains at CrossFit Revamp. It's her first regional, but she started off the weekend by winning event number 1. In lane number 5, in 3rd place, Michelle Crawford from Charlotte, North Carolina. She trains at Ballantyne YMCA CrossFit. She was 4th at last year's regional. She won event number 5 yesterday. In lane number 7, in 2nd place, is Gretchen Kittelberger from Herndon, Virginia. She trains at CrossFit Reston, was 26th at the CrossFit Games last year and 12th at the Games the year before that. In lane number 6, in 1st place, is Christy Phillips from Washington, D.C. She trains at CrossFit MPH. She was 11th at last year's Games and 21st the year before that. This is her 5th regional competition. Those are the 12 ladies competing in event number 7 here at the Mid-Atlantic Regional. Christy Phillips, true champion. And Cherie, what is going on the leaderboard right now?
Oh my goodness, is this going to be exciting? And you could see it on the faces of the ladies as you were calling them off. Christy Phillips, unless something bad goes wrong, she's got that locked up. She's about 7 points into 1st place. Gretchen has had an unbelievably consistent weekend, hasn't won anything but also doing well. So here's the deal. Michelle Crawford, 3rd place. Aaliyah Helmlich, 4th place. They're going to be the people to watch to see who can take over that 3rd place qualifier right there. And you see Crawford in lane 5, and you see Helmlich in lane 8.
And they are off. This workout is underway. 4 rounds for time, 2 rope climbs, 4 squat cleans at 135 pounds. There's a 10-minute time cap. Watch this event go fast. Aaliyah Helmich jumps out to a quick lead as she approaches her first round of 4 squat cleans. The event record in this event was set by Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, 4 minutes, 8 seconds. However, if they want to beat the fastest time of the day, that was 4 minutes and 59 seconds by Dominique Alexander. They have to advance that weight to the next station. So, Michelle Crawford jumped ahead and is now heading down the field of play. She's approaching her rope climbs. This is her 2nd round. She actually got ahead of Aaliyah Helmich on those squat cleans.
Crawford has got to feel the target on her back. She knows that she's got to stay ahead of Aaliyah if she wants that third place in the games. Let's hope she didn't go out too fast.
Which is a possibility. She's shown that she's very proficient on the squat cleans. We're watching her on her second rope climb. It seems like she's a little slower when it comes to the rope climb, but not too slow. She's heading across the competition floor for her second trip and second go at the squat cleans. So this is our current leader, Michelle Crawford.
Michelle came in 4th last year. She doesn't want to do that again.
Aaliyah Helmick reaches the bar at the same time as Michelle, so it looks like Aaliyah very proficient on the rope climbs, Michelle more proficient on the squat cleans.
She knows she has to go unbroken. She doesn't want to give Aaliyah any points or herself any points. There she goes.
She is getting ahead on the squat cleans as she advances that bar to the third station and sprints across that field again. And they've got a little bit of time to think here, Cherie. What are they telling themselves, or at least what would you tell yourself at this point?
This would 100% be a mantra for me, I tell you that. It's like you have to keep your head in the game. I can do this. I deserve this. I believe in myself. All that stuff.
And Crawford just gathers her thoughts for a second as she starts up that rope slightly behind Aaliyah Helmick. So we'll see if Aaliyah can get ahead on these rope climbs where she's been able to gain a little bit of ground the last 2 rounds.
These transitions are key. However, we do know that Aaliyah's got to be 5 places ahead of Crawford in order to get that position.
And right now, Aaliyah is trying to gain that ground. She knows she's got to sprint across that field, and she's losing ground on the squat clean. So we're going to see if fatigue sets in. We know that they've already done 6 workouts this weekend. The core is hammered, and she starts in on her 3rd set of squat cleans.
Look at how badly these ladies want that spot. Michelle's like, you can't take it. And Aaliyah's like, I want it. That's what's happening right here. We'll see if Michelle can hang on.
Aaliyah got a slight lead coming into this 3rd round, but the last 2 rounds it's been Michelle faster on the squat cleans. They're almost rep for rep.
We're starting to see Michelle fatigue a little bit. We'll see if her going out so fast in the beginning is actually going to hurt her.
And Aaliyah finished in good time on the squat cleans. She's outdistancing herself from Michelle, extending a slight lead. She's approaching the portion of this workout where she is the strongest, has proven to be the most efficient, and that's just rope climbs. So this will be her 4th and final set of 2 rope climbs.
Don't forget, we need to have 4 other people be between Michelle and Aaliyah, and that can't be Christy, which you see right there in 6th place. It's got to be ones that are underneath Michelle.
4 helmet to place is what you mean.
Exactly.
So Aaliyah in first in lane 8 as she gets 1 rope climb in, 2 rope climbs in, and heads across the competition floor. It looks like Michelle is doing what she needs to do. She's staying close enough to Aaliyah. She doesn't have to beat her in this workout. She just has to stay close to her.
Right. Between 1 and 2 is fine. She'll still go to the games. And Aaliyah is fighting for that spot. All she can do now is hope that Michelle breaks down and vice versa. Michelle hopes that people don't get in between.
She still shows that she has good technique on this. And it is heavy. It's a 135-pound squat clean. And look at Michelle. She's actually walking at this point. That just shows you how tired these ladies are. But she's still got a little bit of gas in the tank. And Aaliyah Helmick steps on the mat in an unofficial time, 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Aaliyah has done everything she can to try to make it to the games this summer. Now it's up to the other ladies. I don't see things breaking down enough for Michelle. And Christy takes 2nd place.
We know
5
that there
minutes
were
and 2 seconds.
other women that had actually come in fast, so we're not exactly sure, but I don't think enough women came between them.
Okay. You can follow these results on the computer at games.crossfit.com/leaderboard. Look at Michelle. 7 workouts down. Fatigue is set in. Dara Ching finishes unofficial time, 5 minutes, 26 seconds. So it's hard to say at this point, but it looks like Michelle did what she needed to do to be able to grab one of those 3 spots to go to the CrossFit
If
Games.
my math is correct, it was only 1 point away. There were 3 women in the
Wow.
previous heat that had actually beat Michelle, but didn't beat Aaliyah.
And Gretchen just finishes 5 minutes and 48 seconds in unofficial time. So it is going to be close and crazy. These ladies are emptying the tank. They're leaving everything that they can on the field. They know that this is their last opportunity to earn those valuable points and try to qualify for the games this summer. Alicia McKenzie, lane number 3, as she is closing out her final rep on the squat clean, steps on the mat, unofficial time 6 minutes 14 seconds, a 10-minute time cap on this workout, and these ladies don't need anywhere near this amount of time.
That
So
was a fast heat. We
congratulations
still
to
have a
those
couple
ladies.
ladies out there.
Christy Phillips congratulating the other ladies as they have finished. As Laura Barreto and Krista Ruggiero, Christina is finishing her rope climbs. Right next to her, Krista Owens. There's Laura as she comes in. She's got 4 squat cleans left, and that will finish her workout for event number 7 of the Mid-Atlantic Regional. Man, that young lady came in, did what she needed to do. She's placed 4th at the regional last year. She said, I am not going to leave it to chance. I'm not going to let that happen to
By
me
that
again.
look on her face, I'm going to guess that she's not exactly sure what's going on
She's
yet.
not. She's looking at
Yeah.
her coach. She's saying, did I make it? Did I not
Yep.
make it? Here is Laura Barreto as she is finishing up. Only got a couple reps left. And hand it to these ladies. They know that they've missed their chance to qualify for the games, but in true CrossFit fashion, they are giving it everything that they can. The crowd loves that. They're coming alive here. Sometimes the crowd cheers harder for the people that are coming in at the end of the workout versus the people at the beginning of the workout.
And don't forget, this is the top 12 women of this region. So we're talking about hundreds of women. So this is a phenomenal performance.
And Christina Ruggiero has 2 reps left. 135-pound squat clean, and has done an incredible job this weekend.
Struggling through that front squat, that is
Yeah.
the hardest part. It feels so defeating at this point in the weekend. Your legs have been smashed in 6 other workouts.
And I love that the other ladies come over, they're coaching, they're cheering these competitors on. Here they've been battling out with them, and now they're cheering them on. And this will be her last squat clean. She stands up with it, steps on the mat. Unofficial time for Christina, 8 minutes, 28 seconds. Wow, Aaliyah Helmick jumped out to the lead right from the beginning. The lead changed a little bit as as Michelle wanted to battle for that number 1 spot, but it was Aaliyah coming back strong in rounds 3 and 4 that enabled her to take first place in that workout. We're not sure yet if that was enough to be able to qualify her for the games this summer.
You know, Aaliyah had an unbelievably consistent performance for a first-year competitor. She bombed on the muscle-up workout with a 25th place. Everything else was a top 5 finish.
But one thing that we haven't mentioned yet, her husband now has a chance to go and qualify for the games. He's coming up next.
Sure
but
does.
This is a husband-wife team. They both competed as individuals at this competition. I've seen them backstage coaching each other before the event, rubbing each other out after their events. And so it's fun to see that. Now she's done all she can do. She's going to go back and cheer on her husband as he competes in event number 7. And that will conclude our coverage of the women's competition here at the Mid-Atlantic Regional. Don't go anywhere. We will be back to talk to the games qualifiers in a moment. Now, back to Jen, Pat, and Nicole in the studio.
Thank you, Justin. All right, Aaliyah Helmick getting that first place spot in event 7, doing what she needed to do, but now we just have to wait and see.
We do have to wait and see. And if she does make it, I mean, it comes down to, were there enough athletes that placed between Michelle and Aaliyah to bump Michelle out of that 3rd place spot? No cuts didn't seem to come into effect as much, but again, we don't know what happened in those previous events, so not sure where it's going to play out.
This is the worst part, right? This is hell on earth. I mean, we're not quite sure. We have a good feeling that Crawford looked like she did enough, but I'm not quite sure. Like, we want to know who went, but we couldn't have asked for anything more. Those ladies were pouring it on the line, sprinting up and down the field, so a great event.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break, head to a commercial. When we come back, we'll head back out to that Mid-Atlantic region to see where the women finished up and see who is going to the games. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, welcome to CrossFit headquarters. Let's take a look and see how things run on a regional weekend here. So this is actually the publishing and writing side of the house. All of our posts on .com, Twitter, Facebook, it all happens right here. All right guys, this is the IT and art department. This is the game side of the house. Whoa. All of our editing stations, producers, all the content comes in. These guys are doing the edits. Update show is actually getting ready to film, so you can see they've actually got the regionals streaming live. They're doing hair and makeup for the update show. This is actually where they switch between the live show at the desk and the regionals. We've got live streams coming in from all the regionals, and these guys are logging every event, what's going on, who's doing what, who's making moves. The only thing we can't show you is the games testing center. It's top secret. We can't let you on that stuff. So that's it. We'll see you guys this summer at the CrossFit Games.
All day long, I'm in your face. You don't even know. Come on, that's it. Come on. Load it up. Oh, funky butt loving.
Welcome back to our live CrossFit Games update show. We just saw the Mid-Atlantic Women region go down, and we still are waiting to find out who secured those final 3 spots. So what did you think about when you watched that competition?
Well, I mean, what stands out to me is that we're now in the 4th and final week of competition. In week 1, it was all about how quickly are you going to do singles on the squat cleans. You know, and that was pretty much the standard, is that people did 16, the ladies at least, did 16 single squat cleans as fast as possible. Week 2 and 3, we started to see people start to link them together. Today,
push the envelope a bit.
Yeah, today we see an evolved workout. And again, it's just, you know, people set the standards in the week before, and then you see athletes say, hey, well, maybe I should be thinking about that. And we see really the best version of this workout this weekend.
And we get to see Michelle Crawford looking nervous before the event, and then after the event, embracing, hugging Christy Phillips. So awesome to see that heart. All
right, well, now we're going to head back out to Landover, Maryland, because we want to find out who actually does qualify and represent the Mid-Atlantic Women's Region. Back to Justin.
Thanks, Jen. Now we are going down to the competition floor. Jennifer is standing by with our games qualifiers.
You know, it's very exciting, guys. We've already seen tears of joy finding out who is going to the games. Now, Michelle, you just found out that you are placed 3rd right now. You placed 4th last year in the region. How did you use that to motivate you to get here today?
I kind of thought about it every day. You know, I had a big 4th place as the first loser on my garage, because that's how I felt last year. So it was a huge motivator to every day, all the grind of training, to just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Thank you so much. Now, Gretchen, you are in 2nd as of right now. This is your 3rd, 4th trip to the games?
This is my 3rd.
3rd trip to the games.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Now, you have shown that you are consistent in what you're doing. So what are you looking at? What makes you nervous about the games?
I think for me, this is going to sound silly, but when they send us outdoors, like, I'm not very outdoorsy or really into nature. So when they do all that stuff, I get scared. So that's what I fear most.
Thank you so much, Gretchen. And now we are going to turn to Christy, our veteran of the competition overall, 5th time going to the games. Right. Big deal. Very exciting for you.
I'm very excited.
I'm sure you are. Now, your performance has been great this weekend. You did have some problems with the overhead squat. So what do you need to work on going to California?
all year I've been working on getting my lifts up, my numbers up, my strength up, and so I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm going to get given a little more volume in before we start to wind down and taper, because this weekend is just a taste of what the games brings. By Sunday every year, you're tired, you're beat up, and so I want to be able to train to perform in that last event and finish strong.
All right, very good. Congratulations, ladies. Again, this is very exciting. These ladies just found out the final results. We'll pitch it back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Jennifer. Congratulations to those 3 women. The women's competition is in the books. Don't go anywhere. The men's competition is next. For Sharit Chan, I'm Justin Judkins. Thanks for joining us. Jen, back to you, Pat, and Nicole in the studio.
Thanks, Justin. All right, there we see it. Michelle Crawford able to make it to the games this year. Obviously, probably very important to her, seeing that she missed it last year by that one spot.
Yeah, that there's something about the 4th place finish, and we mentioned before we went to break, we commented watching the last event live, like Michelle Crawford looked like she might have burst into tears before the event, probably just nerves and realizing how much was on the line. And then once it was all over, she knew she put in the work, and just hugging with Christy Phillips, crying there at the end. I love to see the effort and reward pay off after a year of just wanting nothing more.
Yeah, and then you got to give it up to Christy Phillips. I mean, this is going to be her 5th games appearance. She takes the regional with a strong, well-rounded showing. I think she's poised very well to go on and make a pretty big splash at the games this year. Her highest finish, I believe, is 12th in the past, somewhere around there, and really she could make it back there again this year.
Now moving on to the men's competition in the Mid-Atlantic region, where it's been really the Ben Smith show all weekend long, but there is a battle going on for those final 2 qualifying spots. Let's see what went on days 1 and 2.
Ben Smith was 11th overall at the 2012 Reebok CrossFit Games, and he started strong in the Mid-Atlantic region this year. 3rd in Jackie, the opening event, with a time of 5 minutes, 17 seconds, Smith came back to win event 2, the only man in this region to lift more than 300 pounds, completing 2 reps at 3:05. And he ended up 3rd in the final event of the day, completing the burpee muscle-ups in 4 minutes and 47 seconds. All that gave him a comfortable lead over Jordan Troyan, who won the final event on the opening day, good enough to move him into 2nd place overall. Kyle Ruth sat in 3rd place after day 1 as a result of his win in Jackie at the beginning of the day. Ben Smith continued his perennial dominance of the region by blazing through the hundreds and finishing more than a minute and a half ahead of his nearest competitor. Smith found his rhythm during the final half of the single-arm dumbbell snatches, putting an exclamation mark on his Event 4 victory. Eager to move up the leaderboard, Nate Schrader caught fire during the single-arm dumbbell snatches, passing several competitors, but would have to settle for 2nd. After not completing the 4th event, Kyle Ruth set out to show that his win in Jackie was no fluke. Ruth blasted through the deadlifts and box jumps to finish 1st in the heat and take 2nd overall, moving him into 2nd place for the region. Keeping pace with Ruth until the final few steps, Rory Hanlon was able to hang on to 4th place overall, finishing just 5 seconds ahead of Gary Helmick. Going into the final day, Ruth and Helmick both have 31 points and will battle it out for 2nd and 3rd place.
Obviously a little bit of a heated race for that 2nd and 3rd spot, so what do you expect to go down?
The wonders of live television, right? What's going on with the audio?
Live internet.
So here's what I expect out of the Mid-Atlantic on the men's side of the house. Ben Smith's got it sewn up, and your boy, Kyle Ruth, he did what he needed to do in day 2, but what's going to happen with him now?
Well, Kyle didn't have a great day 3, the beginning of day 3, and I know it's not sitting well with him. I believe he took, it's somewhere around 17th or 27th, I believe. 27th in that workout this morning. And again, it's one of those things where he's newer to the scene. He took 30th in the Open last year. 30th in the regionals last year. So he's making his way up. We've seen it where athletes get, nerves kind of come into play. So maybe that sort of pressure of being in that 2nd place spot going to bed last night was a little bit much. Let's hope he's regathered. And he can have a good performance on day.
You might still get your Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Well, you guys just teed it up. So now let's take a look at what did go down earlier today in event 6 for the men's region.
All right, Ben Smith started off the day strong. He was looking forward to this, but Kyle Ruth was the man with a lot to gain or lose.
Yeah, and right here we would see that from out the gates, Jordan Troyan would have a good, strong showing. He would make it to that barbell first, but he wouldn't put up big sets, just maybe 3 or 4 at a time, and that would open the door for Ben Smith to come from behind.
Yeah, I remember watching, Jordan was first to the lunges, and so great to see somebody kind of give Ben a push. Ben was extremely strong in the overhead, basically all sets of 10, and then once he started to lunge, it was all over.
We saw this trend around the regionals this weekend where athletes, once they picked up that bar, they lunged 90 feet without putting it back down, fueled by passing other athletes that were taking a rest. Ben finishes taking first place in the workout with a time of 9 minutes.
Yeah, and let's talk about Ben's lunges for a second. He didn't even have the stutter step. Even Jordan there crossing line 926, they'll bring their feet together, take a step. Bring their feet together, take a step. Ben just, as if he didn't have weight on his chest, just did, regular body weight lunges down the court.
I know, and then Kyle Ruth implodes on this workout, taking a 27th place after sitting in second at the end of day 2. That'll drop him down into 4th place.
So it looks like Ben Smith just has to do the minimum requirements here in event 7 to qualify the games. The other 2 spots still yet to be determined. So now let's head out to event 7, the Mid-Atlantic region for the men with Justin and Cherie. Guys.
Thanks, Jen. Welcome back to the Prince George Learning and Sports Complex in Landover, Maryland. This is day 3 of the Mid-Atlantic Regional. It has all come down to this. It is the 7th and final event in the men's competition. These 12 men have proven themselves and their fitness over the course of 5 workouts in the open, 6 workouts already in the regional. Now with this final test of fitness, we will determine who will go to the games this summer. Let's go down to the competition floor and meet our athletes in this heat. In lane number 12, in 12th place is Paul Bono from State College, Pennsylvania. He trains at CrossFit Lionheart. It's his first regional. He placed 7th in 2 events here this weekend. In lane number 1, in 11th place is Sean Butler from Warrington, Pennsylvania. He trains at CrossFit 5-Star. This is his 4th regional, and he placed 12th at last year's regional. In lane number 11, in 10th place is David Borelli from Charlotte, North Carolina. He trains at CrossFit Eternal. Placed 26th at last year's regional, and his highest finish was in the burpee muscle-up event. In lane 2, in 9th place, is Joe Kearney from Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. He trains at CrossFit Lewisburg. It's his first regional, and he placed 4th on 2 workouts, events 3 and 6. Lane 10, in 8th place, is Sean Thompson from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He trains at CrossFit Go Hard. He placed 14th at last year's regional. In lane 3, in 7th place, is Rory Hanlon from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He trains at Iron Forge CrossFit and qualified for the 09 games. He placed 2nd in the overhead squat event this weekend. In lane 9, in 6th place, is Steve Pinkerton from Concord, North Carolina. He trains at CrossFit Vitality. It's his 3rd regional. He placed 4th last year and 9th the year before. In lane 4, in 4th place, Nate Schrader from Fayetteville, North Carolina, trains at Iron Forge CrossFit. He placed 12th at last year's games and 14th at the 2011 games. In lane number 8, in 4th place, is Kyle Ruth from Huntersville, North Carolina. He trains at CrossFit LKN. This is his 2nd regional. He started off the weekend the right way by winning the first event, Jackie. In lane 5, in 3rd place, is Jordan Troyan from Skippack, Pennsylvania. He trains at CrossFit Rage. It's his 3rd regional. He won event number 3, the burpee muscle-up event. In lane 7, in second place, is Gary Helmick from Columbia, Maryland. He trains at CrossFit Revamped. It's his first regional, and he played pro baseball. In lane number 6, in first place, is Ben Smith from Chesapeake, Virginia. He trains at CrossFit Krypton. He placed 11th at last year's games and 3rd the year before. He has won this regional the past 2 years. Games veteran, regional veteran, with a look of calm on his face. Ben Smith, he's got this one wrapped up, Cherie. But who else needs to step up and do well in this workout if they hope to go to the games?
Yeah, talk about domination. He could get last place, and we figured geeking out on leaderboard, he could still go to the games in July. The battle is going to be for second and third. Can newcomer Gary Helmick hang on to second, and can Jordan Troyhun in his third regional competition hang on to third? The pressure is going to be on because Kyle Ruth, Nate Schrader, and Steve Pinkerton are going to be breathing right down their necks with only 2 and 7 points separating them.
And they are off. This is the final event. It's their last chance to earn those valuable points and gain one of those 3 spots to go to the games this summer. This workout is 4 rounds for time, 2 15-foot rope climbs, a 100-foot sprint, 4 squat cleans at 225 pounds. There's a 10-minute time cap, and the event record was set by Spencer Hendel, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. When I said fast, that's exactly what I mean. The time to beat today, 4 minutes 58 seconds, set by Ben Sturgill. And the athletes are going through their first set of 4 squat clean sets. 225 pounds on the bar, normally not a heavy weight, but after this weekend, it takes its toll on the body. Steve Pinkerton jumping out to an early lead, shaking out the arms. Cherie, what things do you tell yourself if you were running across that floor right now?
This is all about mental mantras right here. I can do it. I can make it. You can see Steve wants this. Gary doesn't want to let go of his second. He's there on the right-hand side. And then Kyle Ruth, we knew he was good on those short workouts. Can he make up enough points to get that 3rd spot?
So keep your eye on Pinkerton in lane 9. He was first coming into the second round of rope climbs, but Gary Helmick in lane 7 passed him on those rope climbs. So he jumped out to the lead in this second round. We'll see how he does on 4 squat cleans at 225. This is his second round. Steve grabs the bar, doesn't waste any time, but we've got Gary, we've got right next to him, we've got Kyle Ruth, who wants to stay and keep one of those qualifying spots for the games. Ben Smith.
These guys are bringing us exactly the show that we wanted to see. Look at the heart that we have going on down there. That was Jordan in the front.
Steve Pinkerton, not the first one back to his second set of squat cleans, but he is the first one back to the rope, or back to crossing the floor to get to the rope. But it looks like Gary Helmick knows he's got to make up ground. He is sprinting across that floor.
And we see that Kyle is right there and Ben is right there. So it's really going to be what happens in this workout with that 3rd place, Jordan.
If Gary stays on this pace, he's going through his second rope climb on his 3rd round. If he can stick with this pace, he will keep that spot to go to the games.
He certainly will.
So Helmick in first. He's got a slight lead over Steve Pinkerton. Their pace is picked up as they cross that floor. They both stop and walk. Get the belt tight, and Steve Pinkerton without the belt, without the shirt, in lane number, Steve is in lane number
9.
9, thank you.
And Kyle's
Ben
lane
Smith
number
in
8.
6, pounding through his 3rd set of squat cleans. 225 pounds on the bar.
If
Steve Pinkerton, man, he's proving fast on those squat cleans.
He is, but if they keep this pace, if Kyle keeps it, it won't be enough to go ahead and drop out of that place, because Jordan might be dropping out of 3rd right now and Kyle might be moving in.
So Kyle Ruth in lane 8 has to stay with Steve Pinkerton. Steve Pinkerton now, it's his 4th and final set of 2 rope climbs. He's barely ahead of Gary Helmick. The last 3 rounds, Helmick has proven faster on the rope climb. Pinkerton has proven faster on the squat cleans. They both have 1 more rope climb left. Pinkerton on the right, no shirt, blue knee pads. Helmick, lane 7, all black. Helmet passes him on the rope climb just like he has previously.
What a regional for Gary Helmet.
Exactly. And watch Steve Pinkerton. He'll reach the bar second place, but he will pound through these squat cleans if his fourth round is anything like his first three. Gary picks up the bar first. Steve right behind him, but he goes touch and go, passes him, and Steve Pinkerton, 3 squat cleans to Gary's 2. Steve Pinkerton pounds through the squat clean, steps on the mat first, unofficial time, 4 minutes, 6 seconds. Not only did he win this heat, he broke an event record, the old record, 4 minutes, 11 seconds by Spencer Hendel. Steve Pinkerton comes in, beats that by an unofficial 5 seconds. Gary Helmet in second place. Ben Smith looks like third.
It is a fight between Jordan and Kyle right now, and Kyle needs to beat him by 2, or Jordan just needs to stay right with him in order to get to the games.
So Jordan's got 2 left. He can't waste any time, and what he doesn't want to see other people pass him up and finish ahead of him. Right in front of him, lane 4, Nate Schrader could be watching his chance to go to the CrossFit Games, slip away as Jordan steps on the mat. 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Man, we knew this would be fast, and it has proven to be exactly that. Nate Schrader, you can see, just breaking down, fatigue, just setting in. I'll bet his squat cleans don't normally look like that in the gym. He steps on the mat, 5:08.
He also,
wow.
I don't know if you saw that, but he looked down the line to see where those other guys were, to see if he made it. He knew he didn't, shook his head. There was some disappointment there in that face.
But talk about battling back. Placed 22nd on the first event. He's been digging himself back out of that hole the entire weekend. Battled hard, but that man jumped out to an early lead and has stayed ahead. Here's Sean Thompson. He is closing in on the final seconds of event number 7 for his Mid-Atlantic Regional. Steve Pinkerton comes in, breaks an event record. The old one set by Spencer Hendel, 4 minutes, 11 seconds. It's unofficial, but I think Steve Pinkerton's time was 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Or 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Sean Thompson here finishing out his squat cleans. And David Borelli right behind him. David Borelli is in lane number 11. Sean Thompson in lane number 10. Sean's got 2 left. And Borelli will finish up, step on the mat, unofficial time, 6 minutes, 18 seconds.
Talk about some go we saw from David Borelli this weekend in some of those events.
Here is Sean Butler as he is finishing out his event number 7. Sean Thompson steps on the mat, unofficial time, 6 minutes, 32 seconds. Sean Butler only has 2 squat cleans left. And he will finish up event number 7 here at the Mid-Atlantic Regional. Fatigue just setting in. He's got 2 more. And why are we seeing fails at this point? Obviously, the fatigue just taking over, right?
Oh, yeah. They have had 6 workouts before this. Their legs are fried from this weekend. Their midline is fried. That front squat is so hard to pull out of when you're fatigued. So we're seeing that in all athletes, no matter how quickly they finish.
And not to mention the emotions that they've gone through, the adrenaline dump, the emotions from the crowd getting into it, their support, and he steps on the mat. 7 minutes, 16 seconds for Sean Butler. We've got 1 athlete left. Right at the end, lane number 12, Paul Bono. And he's frustrated because, yeah, just what you said, fatigue is set in. Normally get through this workout. He's done it in practice. That man, Steve Pinkerton, came in to do a job and did just that. Did exactly everything that he could do, including breaking an event record here.
He sure did. That was phenomenal to watch. He's like, I've got a chance. I've seen people get in it from this. So he was in it to win it this round, that's for sure.
We are 8 minutes into this workout. There's a 10-minute time cap. Paul Bono has 1 round left. He's got 2 rope climbs, and then those squat cleans are still facing him. I don't think he has any problem with the rope climbs. It's those squat cleans that are really getting him.
It is the squat cleans, and he has got to be fatigued at this point.
You can tell, though, the other competitors are cheering him on even all the way across the floor. Sean Thompson goes down right underneath the rope to cheer him on. And he gets through 1 rope climb. He's got 1 left.
His first regional, placed 89th in the Open last year. His goal was to make it to regionals this year. Look at phenomenal. He's in the last heat of the final day. What an accomplishment for a year.
Oh, yeah. Made up some major ground and battled this whole entire weekend. We've seen him twice be in the top 12 in the last heat. So it's exciting to see these up-and-comers as they enter these and qualify for these regionals and then come in and just do a job and get the work done.
Crowd's getting wild.
We just passed the 9-minute mark. He's got less than a minute to try to finish 4 squat cleans. You can see the frustration and the fatigue. He's got Sean Thompson right next to him, cheering him on. He's got about 40 seconds to do 4 squat cleans. I don't know if he'll be able to finish this, but in true warrior fashion, he's going to try and get every single rep he can while he is here.
Getting mentally prepped, going down there, getting ready. Fight.
All of the other competitors cheering him on. He can get underneath it, he can pull it, but he just can't stand up with it.
No surprise that midline is failing.
Yeah. All of the athletes cheering him on. The crowd is getting into it. We're down to the last 8 seconds, 7 seconds left in the workout. He wants to at least get one and end on a good note, and he does. And the crowd likes that effort. There is our 10-minute horn cutoff for this final event of the Mid-Atlantic Regional. And what a race this has been. That will conclude our coverage of the men's competition here at the Mid-Atlantic Regional. Don't go anywhere. We will be back to talk to our games qualifiers in a moment. Now, back to Jen, Pat, and Nicole in the studio.
Thanks. All right, so Steve Pinkerton setting that event record in the 7th event, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to get him to the games, guys.
Yeah, Pinkerton's almost custom built for that workout. He's a huge man. He's like 220 pounds, former Marine, so he's probably comfortable climbing the rope, likes the squat clean, but almost too little too late.
Yeah, and we've seen this a couple times where, depending on where the workout falls in the weekend, athletes put out that first place score, but it just this late in the game wasn't enough.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to head back out there and wrap up the men's competition in the Mid-Atlantic region. We'll be right back.
The same way that CrossFitters have taken fitness to a new level, we do the same thing with the equipment.
Since being involved, owning affiliates, Rogue Fitness gear has made a gym owner's life that much better.
With CrossFit, they know what they want. And because we keep the work local in our shop, I can make changes based on their demands right away.
Do you have Rogue equipment? People look for that when they look at a gym. If it says Rogue on it, that's the mark of quality equipment.
There's kind of like 2 pieces to rock crawling that's really fun. To go slow, crawling over rocks and stuff is really technical. The other side is to be able to go flying through the desert really fast. I've got a good cycle of CrossFit going on there. I don't feel so guilty coming out here and staying up all night, eating whatever and drinking whatever.
The CrossFit Games Update Show is brought to you in part by Progenics, the official performance nutrition sponsor of the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games.
Welcome back to the live CrossFit Games Update Show. We just saw the Mid-Atlantic Men's Event 7 go down. Now, we've seen this event evolve over the last 4 weeks. What stood out to you today?
Those rope climbs, piggybacking on your point, it's been evolving every week, and Kyle Ruth specifically, fast up the rope, but this, at this particular event, there's not like a line or marker of the tape where you have to control your descent, so he would just fire pole down and start sprinting back, made up some good ground.
Yeah, new level of efficiency, just dropping from the top of the rope.
All right, let's head back over to Landover, Maryland to see who our qualifiers are in the Mid-Atlantic region.
Thank you, Jen. I'm sure my computer's just like everybody else's computer. The refresh button is getting a little worn out here. They are getting the final results, and it looks like those results are coming in now. The judges are adding everything up, and it doesn't look like there's much of a change. We are going down to the competition floor. Jennifer is standing by with our games qualifiers.
Yeah, guys, it's pretty exciting out here to find out that you do place and you're going to the games in California with these guys. Now, of course, we did have 2 newcomers, and Jordan, you came up from behind early on. What are you going to have to focus on in order to get to California and make a difference there?
Right now, I'm in total shock right now. I still can't believe it. Coming into day 3, I was 23 points behind Kyle Ruth and Gary Helmick, and I don't know, it's total shock right now, but I'm just going to enjoy this moment, definitely take a couple rest days, and then start training from there.
Very good, thank you. And now we're going to go to Gary Helmick. We saw a lot of really great performances from you. This is your first time as well. How do you mentally prepare yourself for this?
For the regionals? For the games. I'm just going to take a couple rest days, enjoy family, enjoy my wife. Aaliyah, that was competing today, I think she missed it by a couple points, so we're just going to, enjoy the moment and get ready for the games. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Congratulations. And we go to Ben Smith, who qualifies again to go to the games. Now, you have been the face of calm this entire time. How do you stay so calm? Was there ever a point in this that you thought maybe there wasn't a chance that you would podium?
I'm just very thankful to be here and very thankful to have the opportunity to compete and have all my friends and family and everybody from my gym here now, my new gym. Everybody's here and they're supporting me, and it's awesome. And there's nothing to worry when you got everybody here cheering for you. So it's amazing. I'm very blessed and I'm very thankful.
Congratulations again. Thank you so much. And again, these are our 3 qualifiers here from the Mid-Atlantic Regional, and we'll take it back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Jennifer. Congratulations to those 3 men. The men's competition is in the books. Don't go anywhere. More action is coming up from the Central East Regional. But for Cherie Chan, I'm Justin Judkins. Thanks for joining us. Jen, back to you, Pat, and Nicole in the studio.
Thanks, Justin. All right, so Ben Smith, Gary Hemlick, Jordan Troyan, those are our top 3. What do we think about where that ended up?
I'm not shocked about Ben Smith. We caught up with him on the phone yesterday. I'm a big Ben Smith flag waver.
Yes.
But he's the only athlete I've talked to in all these weeks that at the end of day 2, the most brutal day, he's like, I feel better than I did today than I did at the end of day 1. That doesn't make any rational sense. So, of course, he came into day 3 feeling the best he has all weekend and just ran away with it.
Yeah, and then the classic story plays out where the first place spot was pretty secure, pretty locked up, and we had 2 newcomers onto the scene, had a chance for even a third in the mix there with Kyle Ruth. And so, in the end, what we look at is, athletes not not finishing the competition until that 7th event because, again, you never know what's going to happen.
What happened to your Cinderella story?
It didn't happen this year. There's not a Cinderella story every year in the NCAA tournament, and maybe that's the same for CrossFit.
Well, we have more competition to
yes.
see.
Well, there was a team competition in the Mid-Atlantic region that happened earlier today. So let's take a look at what went down in Event 6.
CrossFit Explode would start out the day, and with a strong finish in Event 6, they would go on to qualify first out of this region.
And CrossFit Wilmington Team A finishing up the lunges, they would take 3rd overall, and they're qualifying to go to the games.
Yep, and then CrossFit Raw Training would finish that event. The box jumps, they'd do fantastic there, taking just 26 points. They'd be 2nd overall going into the games.
So those are our 3 teams. Are there any surprises among them?
Not a surprise, because that's kind of how the leaderboard was shaping up, and Reston was just outside there in the 4th spot. But again, I'm supposed to be an impartial, unbiased professional observer of the spot, but who's kidding who? I've got a lot of buddies on Reston, and I wanted them to make it, but 1, 2, and 3 explode, Wilmington and Raw. I mean, they earned it. They fought all weekend long, so they deserve it.
And they really were at the top of the leaderboard throughout the weekend. They showed a lot of balance throughout the weekend. I mean, CrossFit Explode, their lowest placing was a 3rd place. So
not too shabby.
They earned the top spot.
All right, well, let's take a look now at all of the qualifiers out of the Mid-Atlantic region. There you have it right there. Any names that we should be thinking that might be a lock, or not even a lock, but just give someone a run for the money that could get on top of the podium?
You have to celebrate Christy Phillips. It's her 5th trip back to the games. And like I said previously, I love the 4th place 1 year, fought all year, make it back in. So I'm a big Michelle Crawford fan.
And then you got to look at Ben Smith. I mean, Ben Smith is one of those athletes that's hung out there in the top 10 at the CrossFit Games for a number of years. We talk about how he's a veteran, but he's only 23 years old. He's been to the games 4 times.
Yep, this will be his 5th trip.
This will be his 5th trip. And really, I think it'd be silly for us to think that he doesn't have a shot at making a run for the podium this year.
All right, well, that wraps up our Mid-Atlantic region. We're going to head to a break real quick, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up the men's and women's Central East competition here on the live CrossFit Games Update Show.
I think what's cool is you only get better by training with other people. The intensity level is high, the drive and the push is 10 times greater.
Some people might train by themselves, but we really represent coming together as a community, pushing yourself. So it's this huge camaraderie and accountability.
When you feel like your mind is getting weak, it just gets you built up even that much more to push even harder when you see someone else going.
I know my body, and my body knows what it wants. I want to stay healthy, so I take vitamin C. Ultrient C delivers high-performance vitamin C in a powerful new way. Because Ultrient C is pure vitamin C right where my body needs it most. My body wants to deliver all of my strength, all of my drive, all of my focus, all of my heart.
A healthy lifestyle begins with Ultrient. Order now and save at Ultrient.com.
You always got to believe that you can do it. I tell that to people. It might not happen today, it might not happen this week, it might not happen next week, it might not even happen next year. But if you believe that it'll happen and you can do it, it will happen. It will. I know it will. I might not be the fastest, I might not be the most gymnasty out there, but I'll tell you what, I'm never going to stop. Ever stop believing in what I can do. No one can take that away from me.
Hey, great job on those 400s today, of course.
Cheers, well done on the lifting. Shocker.
You want to settle this?
Come on then.
Let's go.
Come on, Venezuela, put your back into it.
I am! Speak American!
It's English, you daft bastard.
I will snatch you, so God help me.
Gotta catch me first, biatch.
Ugh.
Hello and welcome back to the live CrossFit Games Update Show. Well, we just saw the Mid-Atlantic region wrap up, so now we are going to head out to the Central East region, which we will have the women's competition first, but a lot of talk about the men's competition. Everyone is looking forward to that. So now let's head over to Rory McKernan, who's out in the Central East, to give us an update on the men's comp.
Thanks, guys. Hey, we're backstage here in the athlete warm-up area just before the women's final heat. Let's talk about this tight men's division. Coming into the weekend, we assumed 5 athletes would be in contention, and they still may be. we've got Rich Froning locking down that top spot. That's a given. So we will take 4 athletes. Currently, it looks like Scott Panchik and Graham Holmberg battling for 3rd. So we may take that 5th place athlete, but it really depends on what the 2010 champ Graham Holmberg does. Let's check in with Graham real quick. Graham, you know you've got yourself looking good, but now you even have the fate of some other athletes in your hands. How's it feeling going into this last event?
Well, I mean, it wasn't until a little bit earlier after the previous event that, you know, a few people said, hey, if you happen to bump up and go to 3rd place, that you open up another spot for somebody else. So it's a neat opportunity that, you know, for me, first and foremost, I need to make sure I need to do what I need to do and try to win the event or place as high as I possibly can. But it's very, you could say, extra motivation, a little inspiring to know that how I perform potentially now can get another guy a ticket to the games, which is a pretty neat opportunity.
Fantastic. We're excited to watch it. Thanks, Graham. So 2010 champ has extra motivation to get some other athletes in. Nick Forey and Marcus Hendren better not only do well for themselves, but also be cheering for the champ. Guys, it's crazy exciting here. Back to you in the studio.
So there you heard it. Graham Holmberg sits outside of 3rd place by just 1 point, and it's an important place to be in right now.
We've been watching this for a while, right? Have we seen anything like this before?
No, I mean, last year Graham was sitting in that 3rd place spot, so, you know, all that logic and kind of how things would play out, we didn't really talk about it. And, I mean, I think Graham really just showed the kind of true competitor within him where he didn't say, like, oh, well, they should earn their own spots or, you know, it's not my job to get them into the games. He's really taken on as an additional challenge and additional motivator.
And I don't think he's the type of guy that needs any extra motivation, but this is, you know, he knows that somebody else's fate or an amazing opportunity to go to the games could ride on him excelling in this next event. I mean, if he needed extra motivation, he just got it.
Well, the men will be up in just a bit, but now turning our attention to the women. Julie Fouché is not competing in the competition this year, which left a huge hole to fill. So let's see how things went down on day 1 and day 2.
The women of Central East may lack the firepower of the men's field, but the competition is nearly as fierce. Lindsey Smith took the opening win in Jackie with a time of 6:09 and 2:10. In Event 2, Julianne Broadbent outlifted everyone with 2 good reps at 195 pounds for the win, but that feat may have cost her in the muscle-ups of Event 3, where she tied for 10th place. Jolene Grant only lifted 165 but finished first in Event 3, the only woman under 6 minutes. Jennifer Smith finished 3rd but was consistent throughout the opening day, and she sat in 1st place by just 2 points entering day 2. The hundreds would prove to be an insurmountable feat as none of the Central East women would finish under the 25-minute time cap. Jennifer Smith and Lindy Wall went rep for rep on the final set of dumbbell snatches, both finishing just 17 reps short. Looking for an event win, Michelle Kinney replicated her success in 2011 on the deadlift box jumps, grinding through her final set of box jumps to win with a time of 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Jennifer Smith did just enough in the event, pacing herself to a 6th place finish and passing Lindy Wall. Lindsey Smith took a 17th place finish, dropping her from 2nd place to 3rd overall.
All right, well, it looks like it's going to be a close race for that final and 3rd qualifying spot.
Yeah, and not only the 3rd spot, I mean, Jen Smith has been looking strong all weekend long, but Michelle Kinney is continuing to close the gap, and she's another one of those stories I like. You know, they're reiterating the 4th place the year before, you know, just kind of missing it and now earning a spot back. Sitting in 2nd, I think, you know, at the end of a couple of days, she's going to be even more fired up today.
And when we look at that 3rd, 4th, and 5th place between Lindy and Julianne and Lindsey Smith, all of them have had pretty consistent performances except for one workout that kind of, you know, they dropped down to that 12, 17 type spot. So really, again, they're kind of stacked up right there.
Well, and you look at that, like I said, qualifying for that 3rd spot, vying for that 3rd spot, it is only 7 points that separates 4 women heading into Event 6. Let's see how it went down.
Once again, back out in scenic Columbus, Ohio, Vacation Land, USA. Started with a just packed stadium, 3,000 spectators, sold out the place.
Lindsey Smith would be sitting in 3rd place, while Lindy Wall just 4th place right behind her with Julianne Broadbent in 5th. And this workout would be extremely tight through the handstand push-ups, but it would be this one right here, Julianne Broadbent, who would start to pull away.
You know, once we got to the shoulder to overhead, Lindy Wall doesn't look like the biggest girl out there, but she was strong, just knocking out the shoulder overhead, and once she started to lunge, forget about it.
Yeah, again, this is that trend we saw where athletes just lunged for 90 feet straight through. She had the crowd right behind her the entire time. Lindsey Smith would start to fall back in the toes to bar, and Lindy Wall would go on to take a first-place finish with Broadbent right behind her here in second place.
With a time of 9:32. This was a huge event for Lindsey Smith. She needed to show up, and unfortunately, just the opposite happened, even lunging across the finish line. In a time of 12:21, Lindsey Smith came into this event in third place, but fell to fifth.
Well, here's our leaderboard after the sixth event. Lindy Wall there, able to get off the bubble, move into that third place spot. So let me ask you guys this. Is she safe heading into the final event?
Lindy Wall? Mm-hmm. No, she's not safe. I would love to say that she is. We only have 3 points between her and Julianne Broadbent. The big thing is, though, Lindy Wall has such an incredible story over the past 2 years. She's recovering from a broken back. If there's anybody that's got a history over 2 years working to get where she is, Lindy Wall's got a lot on the line.
And the biggest veteran there is Lindsey Smith, and she's not quite out of it. She's gunning still to get into the top 3. It's not over.
All right, well, we will head out now to watch this competition unfold with Bill Grundler and Sean Woodland. They are out in Columbus, Ohio.
Who will be going to the Reebok CrossFit Games from the Central East Regional? That question will be answered here after Event 7, the final event of the competition, and still plenty to be decided. Let's send it down to Rory McKernan on the competition floor.
Thanks, Sean. I am standing in the lane of Lindsey Smith, the 4-time Games competitor who's currently fighting just to get back to the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. Directly next to her will be Lindy Wall. And down here we have Julianne Broadbent, another woman in contention. Backstage in the warm-up area, I had a chance to catch up with Smith and Lindy Wall on how they're feeling entering this extremely important event.
You know, obviously I'm not thrilled, but it's not over till it's over. You know, I've been a part of this long enough to know that anything can happen at any given point in time. So just got to leave it all out there and stay positive, stay focused, and do what I do.
I don't consider it a huge buffer. I want to come in and work just as hard as I have all weekend long. It's not that big of a lead. It's only 3 points, I think, even if that's it. So I have to work just as hard as I've worked all weekend long. There's no sure thing. So I got to come out there and give it all I got like the rest of the weekend.
Lindy Wall won Event 6, and she's looking for another win here in Event 7. And Bill, a tight race here for the third spot on the podium.
This is going to be a battle right here. We've seen Lindy Wall do some amazing things all weekend long. Julianne Broadbent, super strong, so this could be right up her alley. And Lindsey Smith, again, strong and extremely experienced, so it's going to be a battle.
We have seen some of the taller, more powerful women do very well in this event.
I think it comes down to the rope climb for them. They're able to get a lot more distance and move quickly through that, so that's really a saving grace for them. And then if they're strong on top of that, that's a powerful mix right there for this event.
Yeah, Lindy Wall stands at 5'7". She's 145 pounds, so she'll be moving a barbell that weighs almost as much as she does.
You know, but we've heard that she's had back issues, and she said her arms aren't real strong. But again, clean is a hip movement, so we'll see how efficient she can be.
So Lindy Wall will try to wind up on the podium here. One more event for her. Let's send it down to Miranda Oldroyd on the competition floor for the athlete introductions.
In lane 12, from All Hard CrossFit, currently in 12th place, CrossFit Games veteran, Lisa Shu. In lane 1, from 8th Day CrossFit, currently in 11th place, Alyssa Ritchie. In lane 11, from CrossFit Hendersonville, currently in 10th place overall, Lindsay McDuffie. In lane 2, from KP CrossFit, CrossFit Games veteran, currently in 9th place, Heather Welsh. In lane 10, from 812 CrossFit, CrossFit, currently in 8th place overall, Nicole Holcomb. In lane 3, from CrossFit Bluegrass, currently in 7th place, Joellen McAtee. In lane 9, from CrossFit SEO, she was first place in the burpee muscle up event, currently in 6th place, Jolene Grant. In lane 4, from Rogue Fitness, CrossFit Games veteran, first place in Jackie, currently in 5th place, Lindsay Smith. In lane 8, from SPC CrossFit, with a first place finish in the overhead squat, with 41 points in 4th place, Jules Broadbent. In lane 5, from CrossFit Neville, she was tied for first in the 100s, first in the chipper, currently in 3rd place, Lindy Wall. In lane 7, from CrossFit Chickasaw, first in the deadlift box jump workout, currently in 2nd place, CrossFit Games veteran Michelle Kinney. And in lane 6, from CrossFit Maximus, tied for first in the 100s, first coming out of the open, Jennifer Smith.
The final heat of the final event, and the battle will be in lanes 4, 5, and 8. Lindsay Smith, Lindy Wall, and Jules Broadbent all fighting for that final spot on the podium and that final ticket to the CrossFit Games. Here's the event. Rope climbs and squat cleans.
What's interesting is we've seen something similar to this in the 2011 Reebok Games, which is a descending ladder with rope climbs and an ascending ladder with clean and jerks. Not exactly the same movement, but at least it's similar. You have to get 4 of those squat cleans, and man, I just am excited to see what this race for 3rd place is going to be.
The time to beat, 4:55.3 here in the Central East region. Jennifer Osborne owns that time, the event record, 4:08. Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet did that in the Canada East region. The final heat of the final event underway here at the Central East Regional. Lindy Wall currently occupying 3rd place. She will try to stay there and make a trip to Carson for the CrossFit Games. The women who are trying to prevent that, Jules Broadbent and Lindsay Smith.
Now what's going to be extremely important for like Lindy Wall right here is she, like she said, she needs to have a really good showing here, but she can't blow herself out. She has a lot of people that are chasing her down, so she has to stay solid on this. And I'll tell you what, she's moving that bar great right now. Let's see what happens in rounds 2, 3, and 4.
Lindy Wall, in the middle of your screen, the all black, in front of her in the purple headband, is Lindsay Smith. She is one of the women who's trying to supplant Lindy Wall in that 3rd place position. And Lindy Wall wasting no time. She is out to the lead. Jules Broadbent chasing her, as is Michelle Kinney, Jennifer Smith, and Lindsay Smith as well. And Lindy Wall is a woman on a mission here as she starts her first rope climb of her 2nd round.
She needs to stay calm here. Yes, she's in front. Yes, she needs to keep moving, but she can't let that adrenaline get to her. If she blows out too early, then these other women will catch her because there is a pace to this event.
Lindy Wall, first off the rope. And the pink is Jules Broadbent. If Jules Broadbent is going to go to the games, she has to beat Lindy Wall by 4 or more in this event.
So you know she's chasing her down right there. This is going to be a big thing. And I'll tell you what, Lindy Wall is moving touch and go on those cleans. And that's exactly what she needs to be doing to keep that spot.
Lindy Wall done with her 4 squat cleans, moves that way to the 3rd marker. Wow. And Lindy Wall is opening up a lead. She has won 2 of the past 3 events. She tied for first in event 5, or event 4. She won event 6. And now Jules Broadbent making her way back down the floor, trying to chase down Lindy Wall. If Lindy Wall
I'll tell you what, she is doing exactly what she needs to do. I was honestly concerned if she was going to have the strength to move that bar, dealing with all the volume that she's had up to this point against these other stronger women. But I'll tell you what, she's having no problems at all, and she has not slowed down at all. You can see the other three women behind are all stopping and resting. Lindy is doing incredible work right now.
Lindy Wall on her way if she can keep this pace towards finishing first in this heat. The time to beat is 4:55.3, and Lindy Wall continuing to go unbroken on that 135-pound barbell. Meanwhile, Jennifer Smith, Michelle Kinney, and Jules Broadbent coming back down the floor. Broadbent needs to catch up with Lindy Wall, but right now Lindy Wall showing no signs of slowing down.
Unbroken, and the one person I thought would be chasing her unbroken is Julie Broadbent, and she's not doing that. She's breaking her sets up in the singles right now. Lindy Wall is incredible. She's a woman on a mission right now, without a doubt.
The event record, 4 minutes 8 seconds by Games veteran Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet.
Wow.
And Lindy Wall could be on a pace to beat that. She's going to have to hurry here. It'll be close, depending on how quickly she can get up and down that rope, and then if she can go unbroken on her 4 squat clean. But right now, Lindy Wall running away with the final event of this competition.
Well, the women that she was going to be worried about aren't even around her right now. So she's doing just fine. Her positioning right now is great. Of course, she doesn't want to coast into the end, but she doesn't have any of those people that were right on her tail chasing her at all. They're not even close.
Lindy Wall, 18 seconds to beat Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet's event record. That may not matter for her because she will have the new time to beat. That's 2. So Lindy Wall is close to coming up with her second straight victory here to close out her competition. 1 rep to go for Lindy Wall. She is done. And Lindy Wall, call that doctor who told you wouldn't squat again. You're going to California.
Yeah, that guy needs to take to the games and watch what he said was incorrect. That girl was amazing. One of the most amazing, just overall jobs this entire weekend. She never let down.
Michelle Kinney is in. Kinney missed the games by 1 spot last year. She showed up in 2nd place overall.
She's going back.
She's going back to Carson as well. And now it's Jennifer Smith.
Wow.
1st place overall. So your 3 representatives from the Central East, all done. Jennifer Smith, Lindy Wall, and Michelle Kinney, and now Jules Broadbent, who has been to the games as a team competitor. Her team finished 2nd last year at the 2012 Reebok CrossFit Games, closing out her event. She just didn't have enough. No one had enough to chase down Lindy Wall.
No, that was definitely, they were furious at the top, without a doubt. I think the weekend just probably took this out of Jules. You know, even though she didn't get in the top 3, she's been a force to reckon with this entire weekend, so nothing to be ashamed about at all.
So meanwhile, Lisa Schuen's finished, Nicole Holcomb's done, Lindsay Smith finished. Smith a 4 times games competitor. She will not be going back to Carson, California. Heather Welch finished up, and Jules Broadbent in lane number 1. That's CrossFit rookie Alyssa Ritchie, 4'11", 115 pounds.
Yeah, she's just throwing plus her body weight all over the place. Look at that, moving it great. So even though she wasn't finishing up toward the top, she had a great event, or a great competition over the course of 3 days too. Again, looked happy the whole time. Every time they showed her face, she was smiling. That was spectacular.
Alyssa Ritchie closing out her competition with a time of 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Now it's Ellen McAtee and Jolene Grant, the only 2 athletes left. McAtee is now done, so Jolene Grant on the far end of the floor. Jules Broadbent is there cheering her on, trying to finish up her final 4 squat cleans. Plenty of time to do that inside the 10-minute time cap. One down for Jolene Grant. 3 more to go. She has 3 minutes to do it. Her fellow competitors there cheering her on in this final heat of the final event in the 2013 Central East Regional Competition.
all these people cheering her on, the other competitors, the people in the crowd, they all know from their box exactly what this feels like. And it's really fun to rally everyone together like this. This is what CrossFit's all about.
Jolene Graham, 7 minutes, 19 seconds. So every woman in the final heat here in the Central East region finishing well inside the 10-minute time cap, but it's Lindy Wall who will be making her first trip to the CrossFit Games. 4:15.4. She closes out her competition with back-to-back victories.
She said she couldn't take it easy, and she didn't do that at all. She definitely put a stamp on that workout.
The top three: Lindy Wall, 4:15, Michelle Kinney, and Jennifer Smith. And those are the three women who will be representing this region at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. And right from the start, this event was all about Lindy Wall as her family congratulates her from the sidelines. But in third place, Jennifer Smith, who came in at first overall.
You know, first coming out of the open, first overall here, was so consistent. It's going to be great to see what she does at the games this year.
Second place, Michelle Kinney, and you know she wanted this one.
It's the best when you see a vet that missed it before come back and get another shot, kind of redeem herself. And again, just so consistent and so happy, right? Look at her. That's a happy woman right there.
And finally, Lindy Wall.
Man,
back-to-back victories.
You know what? She was shining this entire time and just got better and better and better as the event went on. It's gonna be great to see what she does in California.
It looked like she was shot out of a cannon. Your final standings: it's Jennifer Smith hanging on to first place, Michelle Kinney locks down second, and then Lindy Wall, no doubt about it, gets a victory and stays in third overall. So the field of women from the Central East going to the games is set. When we come back, we'll hear from them. Stay with us. More coverage from the Central East Regional when we return.
All right, there you have it. Lindy Wall came in at third, left nothing to chance, dominated that. What did you think about her performance?
Lindy Wall won me over earlier today in event 6 when she lunged unbroken, and then seeing her get another first place on day 3. I am your number one fan right now. I'm absolutely, it's awesome.
Lindy Wall is one of those athletes that's paid attention to what happened the past 3 weeks and said, I'm not leaving anything to chance about who doesn't do well in this workout and who's going to do well. I'm just going to secure it all up. She took 3 first places in the last 4 events and just said, I'm going to lock it up that way.
Yeah, that'll do. You know, it looked like she had a suicide pace. You're like, this isn't going to last. But no, it lasted.
Yep.
Oh, it was good enough to get her to the games. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll head back out to the Central East region and hear from our women qualifiers.
I see every life experience as kind of like a workout. You get loaded with homework assignments and projects, and you just tell yourself, I just gotta chip through it one at a time, one assignment at a time.
3, 2, 1, go!
No matter how slow you go, you're always moving, and you'll eventually get it done.
Coming home. Definitely a favorite day. You don't realize how much you miss home until you're told you can't go back. I want to get back to gymnastics. I want to compete again. I want to get back to CrossFit. I want to go back to school. I want to graduate. You know, all those kind of things.
Life doesn't care where you're going or how you get there. Sometimes you have to push, pull, or fight through it. It's not always perfect, and it doesn't come easy. Life simply asks that you join it.
Yeah! All right, so I need more core to extremity. Yeah!
No.
Yes!
No.
Yeah!
Let's not scream like that.
Yes!
No.
You really want to come from the diaphragm. You get it. Yeah! Yeah! Now kiss the baby.
Goodness, Josh Bridges absolutely hammered those big guys. Woo! Unbelievable. Look at this. Crushing the time by a minute. He took that time by a minute.
Wardrobe for the CrossFit Games Update Show has been provided in part by Mizzen & Main. Tradition evolved.
Welcome back to the live CrossFit Games Update Show. We just saw the Women's Central East competition throw down Lindy Wall. So impressive. Now we're going to head back out to Columbus, the Ohio Expo Center, where Emily Turner has our winners.
The Northeast time set by Spencer Hendel wasn't good enough.
Thanks so much, guys. You know, that race for third place going into this event was so close. We thought it was going to be a nail-biter, but it wasn't. Did that factor in to this event?
Absolutely. I didn't want it to be up to somebody else. I didn't want to have to wait and see how everyone else did. I wanted to come in and nail it myself, and I wanted it so bad, so I knew if I could just seal the deal and win the workout myself, that there would be no question about who was in third.
Well, good luck in Carson, California. You're headed that direction. And Michelle, speaking of Carson, California, you've been there once, missed it by one spot twice, missed it by one spot last year. I know that played a part in this year's event. What did you have to do to get back on the podium this year?
A lot more focused on my program. I was kind of a volume junkie, and I needed more strength. It was blatantly clear last year that I was not strong enough, and hopefully I made it semi-clear that I've developed some strength and kept some conditioning along with that, and punched my ticket. Thank you.
Made it clear with the second place finish. Congratulations, Michelle. And Jennifer, your first year as an individual competitor. You've been multiple years with CrossFit Maximus. How has it been this year as your first year competing alone?
It's been great. And to be honest, I was really, really not looking forward to doing individuals, like up until I claimed my spot doing individuals and not team. But it's been so much fun because the crowd, like, that's literally all I could hear. I had to refrain from laughing at some points during the workouts because I could hear them. I couldn't hear the announcers. I couldn't hear anything. It was great. So they've been awesome.
And I'm sure they'll be cheering you all the way to Carson, California. Yeah. Congratulations. Good luck there, girls.
All right, there you have it. Lindy Wall getting to go to the games for her first time ever. Michelle Kinney going back. Jennifer Smith now in a solo position. What do you guys think about what happened?
Well, I mean, Michelle Kinney really stands out to me. She is the only competitor on the female side thus far. Zach Forrest did do it on the men's side that failed to qualify last year but had been a games qualifier the year before. And if you think about that, there are a number of games qualifiers that were in the field last year, didn't make it, came back this year, showed up at regionals but didn't earn that top spot. Michelle Kinney proved that she made the right changes to her programming, came back better, stronger. She earned her spot.
I'm stoked for Jen Smith. She made the right call, kind of straying away from the team, and look what happened. Wins her region. And Michelle Kinney, her words not mine, switched up her programming, punches her ticket to the games. We'll see her back there.
All right, well, we are moments away from the men's competition in the Central East, so let's take a look at how they got there.
Even with all the talent in the men's field, it was a bit of a surprise to see two-time Games champ Rich Froning finish in 5th place in Jackie, the opening event. Of course, it makes more sense when you realize all 5 men finished within 1 second of each other. Joe Weigel squeezed out the win by 0.2 of a second over Dan Bailey. Events 2 and 3 settled into form. Froning won the overhead squat competition in Event 2 with 1 successful lift at 315 pounds. Scott Panchik was the only other man to break the 300-pound barrier. A smooth and steady pace gave Froning the win in Event 3's burpee muscle-ups, and it also gave him the event record with an electronic time 0.2 of a second better than anyone else at 4 minutes 10.8 seconds. Another former Games champ 2010 winner Graham Holmberg finished second in the event, lifting him to 3rd place overall. Scott Panchik ended the first day in 2nd place, right between the 2 former champions. Coming into day 2, Rich Froning picked up where he left off at the start of the hundreds. Scott Panchik was nipping at Froning's heels through the wall balls and pull-ups, but once Froning reached the pistols, he began to distance himself from the field, not stopping until he reached the single-arm snatches. Despite admitting that he had never attempted the hundreds workout in practice, Froning smashed the event record by more than a minute with a time of 19:05. Scott Panchik followed in Froning's footsteps, also breaking the previous event record set by Jason Khalifa. A determined Dan Bailey pushed through fatigue in his final reps to finish in third place. With something to prove, Dan Bailey got off to a fast start on the initial round of deadlift box jumps. However, Marcus Hendren, hungry to make up some ground on the leaderboard, passed Bailey to win the event with a time of 3:35. Froning snuck in just a few reps ahead of Bailey for a third-place finish in the final event of the day.
It's a good mullet there. So Rich Froning, back-to-back event records in day 1 and day 2. It's impressive.
It is impressive. I mean, when we look at Rich Froning, I don't think a lot of people expected him to do much differently. He has the anchor of the past 3 weekends of what's been done. We know that he's been watching the regionals, and he probably had his sights on some very specific times of what he could hit to earn those event records. I don't expect to see anything different as we move into event 6 and 7.
Well, earlier today, event 6 did take place, and Rich Froning showed just again why he is the 2-time defending champion.
Back out to the most beautiful place in America, Columbus, Ohio, where event 6 kicked off in true fashion.
Rich Froning, Dan Bailey, and Graham Holmberg would be neck and neck through the handstand push-ups. Would be Bailey that would come off the wall first in an impressive way.
Yeah, and by the way, he only came off the wall when he was done. He did all 50. Was slightly ahead of Rich, but once the lunging started, that all changed.
Yeah, Bailey had that slightly in the lunges, and then Rich even said, he saw Bailey put the bar down and just gained more fuel to just go for a 90-foot lunge without putting the bar down. He would take first place, setting a new event record with a time of 7:36.
Now, Dan did exactly what he needs to do to, keep a good qualifying spot in his sights, and this has been the weekend where Rich sets multiple event records casually, just stands in the box, no big deal. And Holmberg showed up. He needed a big finish to make himself viable, and it's exactly what he did.
And then Panchik closely behind would take 6th place and just hold on to that 3rd place position by a very small bit.
Well, there's a close race there if you look at spots 3 and 4, but it's a lot to look forward to, and will keep us on our edge for event 7. We are going to head out to Columbus right now for the guys.
It's time for the finale at the Ohio Expo Center. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland alongside Bill Grundler, the 4th and final heat of the last event of the weekend. And Bill, it features a who's who of CrossFit athletes.
That's absolutely true. It's going to be amazing to see what comes out of this heat. We've been waiting for this. Everyone's been talking about it all season long, and let's see what happens.
Rich Froning has 3 event records so far. Can he get another one here?
If there's a guy that can, he's going to be the one to do it. We'll see what happens, but he's definitely, people are looking at this one for sure.
The new event record was actually just set in the Mid-Atlantic region. It's 4 minutes, 5 seconds. That was done by Steve Pinkerton. So Froning and his fellow competitors trying to chase that number down.
In lane 12 from CrossFit 061, currently in 12th place, CrossFit Games veteran Nick Urinkar. In lane 1 from CrossFit Future, currently in 11th place, Tristan Moore. In lane 11, from CrossFit Faith, currently in 10th place overall, Matt Hewitt. In lane 2, from CrossFit Talon, currently in 9th place, Will Morad. In lane 10, from CrossFit Cadre, first place on Jackie, currently in 8th place overall, CrossFit Games veteran Joe Weigel. In lane 3, from CrossFit Countdown, currently in 7th place, Gerald Sasser. In lane 9 from CrossFit Polaris, first place on the deadlift box jump event, currently in 6th place, CrossFit Games veteran Marcus Hendren. From CrossFit Mayhem with 23 total points, CrossFit veteran, currently in second place, Dan Bailey. And in lane 6 with 12 total points, first in the overhead squat, first in the burpee muscle up, first in the hundreds, first on the chipper, your 2011-2012 champion, Rich Froning.
Your starting grid for the final heat of the last event of the weekend, and there is a battle for third place between Scott Panchik, Graham Holmberg, and then a battle for fourth and fifth between Nick Forey and Marcus Hendren. Event 7, 2 movements, rope climbs and squat cleans, and I doubt that any of these men are going to have trouble with this weight.
No, the weight's not going to be an issue, but real interesting, 2011 we did a rope climb and a clean and jerk, ascending and descending ladder, and guess who won that one? Rich Froning.
I'm not shocked by
that. So we may see that again here.
The time to beat today belongs to Ken Batistin. He did that in 4 minutes, 22 seconds. The new event record was set today in the Mid-Atlantic region. Steve Pinkerton, 4 minutes, 5 seconds. Froning has 3 event records. We'll see if he can get 4.
3, 2, 1, go!
The final heat, the final event of the weekend here in the Central East Regional, and Rich Froning securely in first place. Now the question is, can he rack up yet another event record? Marcus Hendren, Graham Holmberg, Scott Panchik, Dan Bailey, and everybody else now done with their initial 2 rope climbs.
Well, just as always, Rich Froning comes out extremely relaxed. Actually sat down, was almost the last person off of those ropes. And he's even doing these not touching go, but breaking them up. So he's conserving a little bit of energy. Not that he's under pressure right now, really. But it's always interesting. He's so smart about his strategy. But wow.
Marcus Hendren, the first man done. Now Hendren needs to do some work here if he wants to get himself back into the games. There are a lot of different scenarios that can get him there, a couple different ones, but if he wins, he's certainly going to help that. Graham Holmberg is really the key guy here. He currently sits in 4th. And because Rich Froning is a former champion in the top 3, if a former champion finishes in the top 3, he cannot take a qualifying spot. So right now, there are 4 spots available because Rich Froning is in the top 3. If Holmberg works his way into the top 3, that would open up 2 more. So now 5 men would go.
Now look at what Marcus Hendren is doing. We knew coming out of that deadlift box jump event that he could do a sprint with heavy movement just like this, and that's exactly what this is. He had a great overhead squat also, so he was cleaning heavy weights up, so he is moving and doing exactly what he needs to do, and he cannot slow down at this point.
Marcus Hendren is your leader now, the event record. Steve Pinkerton, 4 minutes, 5 seconds. Hendren right to the rope to start his 3rd round. Marcus with 1 first place finish, and he did that in event 5. And now he's heading towards his 2nd win if he can keep this pace. Next to him is Graham Holmberg, who's currently in 2nd place along with Gerald Sasser and Scott Panchik.
He needs to keep this pace. I'll tell you what, he's a farm boy, and he knows hard work, and he's doing exactly what he needs to do right now and not shut down. He needs to show his family, hey, you know what? This is what I do. I am a CrossFitter. I'm going to make this happen.
Hendren now on his 3rd round of squat cleans at 225 pounds. Graham Holmberg in the gray shirt, Scott Panchik in the blue, also back to the barbell as well. And now Rich Froning, he doesn't need to win. He's already going to go to the games again and win his region. Just doing steady work here.
He's just doing what he needs to do right now. I mean, the person to watch is Marcus Hendren, and he is on fire. He needs to keep moving. He's got 1 round left, and he's looking so smooth and so strong right now.
Marcus Hendren in the yellow shirt is your overall leader, and now Graham Holmberg, Scott Panchik, and Gerald Sasser all making their way back down for their final round of rope climbs. And now it's Hendren with 1 rope climb to go, and he has a minute before we hit the event record time that was just set by Steve Pinkerton in the Mid-Atlantic. The time to beat, we'll mention it, Ken Batistin, 4:22.6.
Wow.
But you can kiss that one goodbye. Here comes Marcus Hendren. 3 minutes, 21 seconds have gone by. The time to beat in your upper left-hand corner of your screen. That is going to be beaten easily. Now the question is, will Marcus Hendren set an event record here?
He doesn't even look winded right now. He looks so strong. Each one of those reps looks like it's only 135 pounds for him.
Graham Holberg is currently in second place. That will help out Marcus Hendren. Hendren on the left of your screen in the yellow. And Marcus Hendren is going to set an event record. Hendren is done.
Wow.
3 minutes, 53 seconds for Marcus Hendren.
That was so impressive. You know, seeing that 4-minute time cap, 4-minute time that a lot of the top event people were doing, I did not think it'd be blown that bad. He was so fast and so strong through that entire event.
Scott Panchik finishes well. Rich Froning just edged out Graham Holberg. So now we're going to have to see where this leaderboard plays out. Because right now, with Holberg sitting in 4th place, Marcus Hendren would be on the outside looking in. If Holberg is able to leapfrog Panchik, which it doesn't look like he will, Hendren may not make it back to the games.
There's a lot of higher math that has to go on right now to see all the what-ifs. I tell you, these guys are shuffling around, but that, I mean, Marcus Hendren had to make his move, and that was the move he needed to make. He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Tristan Moore played baseball at Wright State and was actually the Horizon League Player of the Year in 2012, finishing up his event. Tristan Moore is in, so now Matt Hewitt and Will Morad, the only athletes left. So the top two coming in, Rich Froning and Dan Bailey. And now Marcus Hendren gets his second win, and he does it in style, setting a record. So Steve Pinkerton in the Mid-Atlantic region had that record for about an hour.
Wow. I'll tell you what, overall, that was an impressive heat. Their times were so fast. So fast overall, I mean, just worldwide even.
And now the world's fittest cheerleading squad moving over to encourage Will Morad, who has 4 squat cleans left. He's the only athlete left, and everyone over there cheering him on, led by 2-time defending CrossFit Games champion Rich Froning. Morad now with 3 reps to go. 10-minute time cap here.
How can you not keep going when Rich Froning is telling you to pick up the bar and go? That's almost like your dad telling you to go.
I'd probably find a way. 2 more reps to go for Will Morad as we close out the final heat of the final event here at the 2013 Central East Regional Competition. The crowd still on their feet as they cheer home Will Morad, his final rep.
Nice job. Nice job.
Getting congratulations from Rich Froning, and he closes out in 6 minutes, 32 seconds. Congratulations all around. Marcus Hendren sets an event record, but may not have done enough to get himself into the CrossFit Games. Hendren with the victory and a new event record. Scott Panchik would have also beaten the record as well. That's the second time that's happened this weekend.
Yep.
And then Rich Froning closing out his competition with a 3rd place finish, 4:07. So Froning never finishing outside of the top 5 this weekend. Dan Bailey and Graham Holberg in 3rd place. He just had to do some steady work there, Rich.
He just had some good work, but look, he looked over and saw where Graham was and snuck on in there. He's smart. He's smart.
And then in 2nd place, Scott Panchik.
You know, Scott, he just had an unbelievable year. Did great this entire event, this entire weekend. Definitely a stud and someone to look out for.
And then 1st place, did all he could, but will it be enough? Marcus Hendren, event record and the win.
Yeah, it's all about doing a little math right now. He did exactly what he needed to do. It's great to come off and get an event record like that as well. But you know what? That was exactly what he needed.
So we will wait and see how the overall leaderboard plays out. We're waiting on the final standings. But that man, Rich Froning Jr., sending a message to the rest of the CrossFit world that he is going to be tough to dethrone.
You know, just overall, this region has been so impressive. Basically, if you didn't get one of those gold or silver tickets, you should have come here instead, because I mean, it's virtually a who's who within the CrossFit realm, within the CrossFit competitors.
Marcus Hendren will have to sit and wait and find out how the leaderboard plays out. We will have that for you when we come back at the 2013 Central East Regional. These fans were treated to an unbelievable competition, and they leave it on an event record note. We'll be back with more from Columbus.
All right, thank you, Sean. Gosh, Marcus Hendren killing it, event record. What do you think about what we just saw go down?
Well, I mean, Marcus Hendren, again, did everything he needed to do in this last event to get him where he wants to go, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, we heard Bill Grundler say exactly what's going through my mind. We need a team of mathematicians figuring this out right now. There's some upper-level university grade stuff going on. I want to know, did Graham Holmberg, I mean, he had a heck of an effort. He was ahead of Rich Froning for most of the event. And then at the end, Rich just kind of, the only time I've seen Rich sprint to the finish all weekend long. So we need to figure out these final numbers.
Well, we will sit and crunch the numbers. We'll do it in a commercial break. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we will head back out to that Central East region and see where things finished up.
Hey, Tyson, what's up? Mars? Diablo chicken. Hey, Pat.
The same way that CrossFitters have taken fitness to a new level, we do the same thing with the equipment.
Since being involved, owning affiliates, Rogue Fitness gear has made a gym owner's life that much better.
With CrossFit, they know what they want. And because we keep the work local in our shop, I can make changes based on their demands right away.
Do you have Rogue equipment? People look for that when they look at a gym. If it says Rogue on it, that's the mark of quality equipment.
All day long, I'm in your face. You don't even know. Come on, that's it. Come on. Load it up. Oh, funky butt loving.
Welcome back. All right, we just saw the men's Central East competition wrap up over there in Columbus. Guys, let me ask you, Dan Bailey, finishing 9th in Event 7. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I'd like him to finish a little higher, but it also has to be said, the caveat, it's in the Central East, right? So it's first in most other places in the universe. And that would be, other than that, he had an 8th place. It's his worst finish. It is a little odd. I expected more from him, but it's still, he did what he needed to do.
All right, well, we will see if that is enough to get him to the games. We are going to head back out now to Sean Woodland in Columbus, Ohio.
Welcome back to the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, Ohio. And Bill, it's deja vu all over again. 5 men went last year. 5 men are going this year.
Battle Royale. I'll tell you what, when you have that many good athletes, the games it's going to be interesting to see what happens. This is such a strong region, and man, that's all I can say is wow.
Froning, Pancic, Bailey, Holmberg, and Hendren going to Carson. Let's go down to Emily Turner on the competition floor with the 5 men who will represent this region at the games.
All right, you know what? Right now, there are a lot of people who would like to be in my shoes, surrounded by these fantastic athletes. Scott, you held on to third throughout the weekend. Was this a battle? Where was this battle won for you?
All heart comes right here. You got to be able to just take the pain and keep rolling with the punches. You're going to hit adversity in every workout, and you just got to fight through it.
All right, Dan, in second place, you know coming into this regional, it's going to be a dogfight from the beginning. How do you set a pace for something like this?
You just go hard in every event. When you're in a regional like this, with the talent that's up here and then the next, 5 places below it or right up there in any other region, you just got to go hard, give it your best, and compete every workout. It was a war all weekend long. I'm pretty sure one of these guys bumped me down a little bit on that workout, but had a great time, excited to be going back to the games, so it was a great weekend for me.
Fantastic job, and speaking of the best, Rich, another win for this region, headed to the games yet again. What is between here and a podium for you in Carson?
6-7 weeks of hard work. Get back to work tomorrow, and no off days, I guess. Just time to get ready, time to keep going.
And congratulations. Good luck in Carson again. Speaking of Games champions, we've got a former Games champion right here, Graham Holberg. Fantastic job. You knew that you have all of these guys who are out for these podium spots.
Sure.
How does that play in to your weekend?
Obviously, like you just said, I'm out for a podium spot as well. It's a fortune and a misfortune to be in one of the hardest regions, stacked with such good guys and competition. It helps me perform to my best as well. I got my spot to go to the games. Honestly, I'm not pleased being in fourth. But it's a lesson, and I got challenged and pushed this weekend, which was, it was to be expected. So happy to be going back to the games and representing again, and hopefully things shake out a little different in a month.
Great job, Graham. And Marcus, boy, not only was that last event a fantastic performance from you, but you've got it by the skin of your teeth. What kind of sacrifices did you have to make from last year to this year to be going back to Carson?
I quit my job on the farm. Left the family farm, started working out full-time, training people 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I pretty much dedicated the whole last year to this. And like you said, by the skin of my teeth on the last event, got it done.
Well, congratulations. Good luck between now and then. Sean, back to you.
Thank you, Emily. Marcus Hendren sets an event record and is on his way to the CrossFit Games. 5 men from this region finished in the top 10 in 2012. The same 5 heading back to the games. For Bill Grundler and Emily Turner, I'm Sean Woodland. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, there you have it. 5 guys heading back. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I know there's probably going to be, the internet's going to go wild with how that all played out and taking 5 athletes, but as it stands right now, through the regional competitions across all the men, across every region, Marcus Hendren would have been 8th overall. He deserves to go to the CrossFit Games, and I think CrossFit, Dave Castro, the whole crew out there, they made the right call.
I mean, it's the same 5 guys going from last year, and those 5 guys wound up in the top 10, so there's a hell of a case that they're some of the best in the whole world. And you heard Graham Holmberg say it there, that it's a fortune and a misfortune to have to be in that region. When we caught up with Dan Bailey, he had something really cool and kind of similar to say, that we asked him, how does it feel having to qualify in such a tough region? Do you wish you were someone else? And he's like, well, somewhere else. He's like, well, that might enter your mind every now and then, but it's so gratifying to, if you get a spot to the games from the Central East, it's like you are battle tested. It's just a stamp of approval in your CrossFit career that the world should recognize, and these guys are going to go forward and perform.
I think he even said you could put it on a resume.
CrossFit resume, yeah, exactly.
All right, in the Central East team competition, no one was safe heading into day 3. There was a 4-way race for those top 3 spots. Here's what went on in events 6 and 7. All right, well, it looks like there's a little bit of a technical difficulty, so let's just talk about these teams heading into what was going to be a very tight race of day 3. We have Mayhem.
Yeah, I mean, going into day 3, CrossFit Mayhem sat in third place, but then they pulled themselves up into second place after that 6th event, had a pretty strong showing. What's interesting about Mayhem is they used to be, the team members that make up Mayhem were CrossFit Faith. They all moved when Dan and Rich started their affiliate CrossFit Mayhem. So 5 of the 6 team members there are from Mayhem last year, or from Faith last year.
And, you know, making Daddy Froning proud, right? I mean, the recap is, we got the video. Let's go ahead and check it out.
All right, let's take a look now.
Right, and so they would start off strong. Project Mayhem would work through the shoulder to overhead in the 5th workout, and they would contend for the lead. They would finish the lunges, and then they would finish the event 6 in second place with a time of 9:54, and this would move them into second place.
Now, CrossFit New Albany struggled a bit on the lunges, but at the end of the day, they would still finish the workout in 12th place, taking 7th on event 7 as well.
Right, and then in event 7, Indy North Black, they would fly through this workout, and they would finish in second place overall.
But again, the story of the day, Project Mayhem on the rope climbs and squat cleans, second on event number 7, and moves into first place overall in the competition.
All right, here's a look at our qualifiers out of the Central East region for both the women and team. Jennifer Smith, as we said, getting to go back as an individual. Michelle Kenny going back. Lindy Wall competing for her first time. And then there's our teams that are heading there. Now let's take a look at the men, though. Here we go. No surprises there, really, right? This is what we saw last year. They're heading back.
Yeah, the boys are back in town. There's 5 of them. They need their own separate leaderboard, you know. They get all kinds of special privileges, and they will be the people to watch when we go out there to the Stub Hub.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick break because that wraps up our Central East region. When we come back, we're going to take a look at Latin America and Canada West, our final 2 regions, here on the live CrossFit Games Update Show.
You haven't heard of CrossFit? Let me tell you about CrossFit.
CrossFit is a lifestyle in which you are prioritizing your health.
The ability to do many different things at a high level of intensity.
I think it's the absolute best way to help you reach your fitness goals.
For me, it's making me happy.
A fun way to get fit with log-mounted pipe.
The last person finishing is just as important as the first one.
It's this team atmosphere that ends up making you better as an individual. Camaraderie, that family that you end up building, and the energy that you get back from it yourself. That's CrossFit to me.
When you come to a CrossFit gym, everybody knows your name, everybody loves you, and you're a part of something bigger than just getting a workout.
CrossFit gave me that something extra that I kind of needed in life. It's my outlet. I love it.
It's my passion.
It's commitment.
CrossFit is a sport now.
I like the challenge. I compete with myself. I'm healthier. I am stronger.
Even though I was sore, I was, would get a little discouraged. I felt accountable to my community, or I felt accountable to my class because they were looking for me there.
Finding CrossFit and having to work really dang hard for whatever your goal is, whether it's to compete or just get a damn pull-up.
I love it because the workout's different every day. I can come in and I don't know what I'm doing.
Everyone is welcoming. Everyone is cheering you on. They don't let you quit, even if you want to quit.
We all share this experience, which is emotional. It doesn't look emotional. It looks like people working out, but it's emotional. I mean, it's raw. It's intense. It's incredible. It's freaking awesome. I'm gonna keep doing it for a long time, I hope.
CrossFit to me is a fitness program where the reward for doing well is the ability to express your fitness in everyday life in as many different planes or as many different activities that you can possibly imagine.
People walk through the door and say, hey, where's all the machines? Where are the machines?
Wardrobe for the CrossFit Games Update Show has been provided in part by Mizzen & Main. Tradition evolved.
All right, welcome back. Well, things have wrapped up in the Latin America region. We are going to now take a look at our qualifiers that will be representing this region in the games. There you have Orlando Trejo. We kind of knew he had this locked up yesterday, score of 31. Courtney Modecki edging out Teresa Barnett with 14 points, and CrossFit 7 Mile will also be moving on to represent this region.
You know, Orlando Trejo, he's my boy, the pride of Peru, and we said this was his race to lose. He started off great, you know, taking the tie for third and Jackie, and looked strong the whole way through day one. When we eventually got to day two, impressive on the hundreds, finishing in 25:02, but then he just punted the deadlift box jump into the stands, but recovered enough, and he's still going to go to the games. I know he's probably working on his swimming, so he should be the strongest competitor we've seen from Latin America in a long time.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting. He did get that 16th place finish in event 6, but obviously still enough to allow him to get that first place finish. Now let's talk Courtney Modecki. We weren't sure her and Teresa Barnett edging each other out. She came in first, and she was able to hold on.
She had a strong showing throughout the first 2 days. Her lowest score was a second place through until she got to event 6. You see her here. She'd put 165 overhead for 1. Strong in the burpee muscle up. She'd go on to finish 29 of them. But then in the hundreds, again taking first place there. Why not follow it up with a first place in the deadlift box jump? Then she'd run into some trouble at the start of day 3. She would take 7th place in today's event 6. 7th place kind of opened the door wide open for Teresa Barnett to come through, but in the end, Courtney Modecki took a first place on that final workout, secures her spot.
Teresa Barnett's but had that place locked down for a while, so Modecki better perform when we move up to California.
Yeah. Now, talking about teams, we said yesterday CrossFit 7 Mile pretty much had it locked, and they did. They will be representing. Here they are here, day 1 recap.
I mean, not to oversimplify, but they ran away with this thing from start to finish. No one was even close. The closest competitors were CrossFit SP, and quite honestly, they were never really in contention to beat 7 Mile.
No, not at all. And the big thing that stands out is that this team, they're 6 deep. They don't have that alternate. I mean, they're just saying, we're going with 6, we're going to get it done, and then, you know, in the end, they finished it out with just I think their lowest place finish was a 2nd.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Well, that is our Latin America region. Now we will move on to Canada West. Now that is currently underway. We are still waiting to hear the results for the men's and women's, but the teams event did finish up earlier today. Here are the 2 teams that will be representing Canada West. No surprise there.
Yeah, Centaurs and Team Tyrannus. We talked about them yesterday. Having a strong performance. Tyrannus kind of fell down there, but earns their spot back up. They both had great showings today in event 6. Centaurs took a first place. Team Tyrannus was close behind with a 3rd. Did what they needed to do.
And you have to love any team that Angie Pye, now Hay, is on, because former games individual athlete. You're only going to bump up your credibility right there.
All right. Well, for the men and women, the 2 qualifiers that will be coming out of Canada West, you'll have to log on to games.crossfit.com. You'll get the highlights and find out who will be representing that region. All right, guys, so this is it. We've wrapped up the 4th and final region. Okay, I have to ask the obvious question. Can anybody beat Rich Froning in the 2013 Reebok Games?
Ladies first, what do you think?
No, but many will try. Many will try. But, I think, again, we're just seeing, history in the making. You could say history in the making was the guy that upsets the three-peat, or you could see the history is the three-peat.
I'm going to get all Yoda-like on you, okay?
Okay.
The person that can beat Rich Froning is Rich Froning. He is human, he has the same range of emotions like everyone else. People think he doesn't get nervous or stressed out, and he's very open and honest about this. He's like, yeah, I still get nervous before every competition. So he's not one usually to make mistakes. He's an extremely tactical thinker in his workouts, but if he slips it a little bit, the gap's getting closer and closer. So if he has some slip-ups, some guys might be able to jump in there.
Well, now in the women's competition, though, Annie Thorsdottir, we know that she's got that injury. We don't know if she's going to be able to compete. If she can't, who do you see stepping up in her place?
Again, this was the year of the upset, especially on the ladies' side. We just have so many newcomers that haven't really shown what they can do at the games yet. We've got names like Pacelli. We've got, up in the Northeast, all 3 women that qualified. And I think that what it comes down to is those top spots on the podium are just they've been blown wide open again. So I'm excited to see where the newcomers place. And I think that Briggs, while she had an impressive performance through regionals, we haven't really seen her come back onto the stage in that big arena.
Lindy Wall, for sure, without beyond a shadow of a doubt. No, I actually am a really big fan of her. I hope she does great, but Sam Briggs is my pick. She looked amazing this year. I think she wouldn't have looked any less amazing had Andy been competing or not, I think she's going to be the one to give Andy a run for her money. Or if Andy's not there, run away with the whole thing.
All right, well, that wraps up our final region. We will look forward to the CrossFit Games. All of those questions will be answered. Starts July 22nd. For Pat Sherwood, Nicole Christensen, I'm Jen Brown. Thanks for watching.